Hello, my name is Hwajin Lee. Today I will introduce about pumping liquid cooler to increase horticulture productivity in horticulture and the structure. The contents are what is pumping liquid cooler, necessity and effect of pumping liquid cooler, principle of pumping liquid cooler, advantages of pumping liquid cooler, and lastly, example of a pump house applied in practice. First, what is pumping liquid cooler? A pumping liquid cooler was developed by the Rural Development Administration in 2020 and is a device that supplies low temperature fluid to the cultivation plate. It is a method of installing a small tank that supplies liquid to the facility, cooling it first, and cooling large capacity liquid tanks sequentially. It has the advantage of precisely controlling the fluid temperature with a low capacity cooler. Second is necessity of pumping liquid cooler. Over the past 30 years, the average temperature rise in Korea has doubled the global average, with summer increasing by 20 days and heat wave days increasing, and high temperature damage to facility horticulture farms is also increasing. Most facility horticulture crops, if exposed to high temperatures above 35 degrees Celsius for a long time, reduce growth and yield, and in several cases, begin to dry up and die. In particular, leafy vegetables such as lettuce have an appropriate growth temperature of 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, causing the germination and leaf differentiation to stop and the absorption of nutrients in the roots to decrease. Most of the leaf vegetables, including lettuce, are cool season crops. Therefore, even if the environment on the ground is not good, it can grow by accepting nutrients if it maintains its interior power at the root. In addition, energy consumption for greenhouse cooling is more than 3 to 4 times that of heating. Currently, farmers want high value-added cultivation through rational cultivation energy during this high temperature period. Therefore, a pumping liquid cooler is needed to prevent high temperature disturbance of crops and increase productivity. Next is the effect of pumping liquid cooler. Dissolved oxygen content refers to the molecular oxygen dissolved in water or solution, and dissolved oxygen contents affects the root respiration of crops. Lowering the water temperature is one of the ways to increase dissolved oxygen. If the temperature of the amniotic fluid is low, the concentration of oxygen in the amniotic fluid increases. Usually, when the water temperature rises by 5 degrees Celsius, the dissolved oxygen content drops by 1 ppm. The difference in dissolved oxygen contents between 25 degrees Celsius water and 20 degrees Celsius water is huge. Lowering the water temperature increases dissolved oxygen, making the roots healthier. Incidentally, the vitality of the bacteria also decreases. Next is effect of pumping liquid cooler. If the temperature inside the greenhouse of leaf vegetables is lowered by 8 degrees Celsius, lettuce will increase by about 10 times, bok choy by 4 times, and celery by 5 times. The root development of lettuce is doubled compared to the greenhouse that supplies room temperature liquid, and the high temperature stress resistance is increased, and the weight of lettuce is also increased by 150%. In addition, if the cooling function is utilized and the heat pump, which is often used by farmers for heating, and the heating function is removed, it can play the role of a chiller. Farmers can convert and operate existing devices. The installation cost of the fluid reservoir. It is also expected to ease the burden of farmers for the cost. Next is principle of pumping liquid cooler. Unlike the existing method of cooling the entire large capacity liquid tank, the system developed by the Lula Development Administration installs a small tank that supplies liquid to the greenhouse. First, cools it, and sequentially cools the large capacity liquid tank. So with a small cooler, you can precisely control the temperature of the amniotic fluid. Connect the small tank, liquid tank, and cooler with a three-way valve, and up and close the valves connected to both tanks according to the temperature of the three-way valve outlet to maintain the liquid temperature of the small tank at 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the amniotic fluid that supplies water to the cultivation plate was maintained at around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. Lastly is an example of farmhouse applied in practice. Han Seung-jin, a farmer who grows leaf vegetables such as lettuce in Gimje, Jeollabuk-do, introduced a water cooler for hydroponic cultivation of leaf vegetables, developed by the Lula Development Administration in 2020. As a result, the root vitality of leaf vegetables such as lettuce in summer increased by 70%, and the yield increased by 40%. Han Seung-jin, a farmer, said that lettuce, a low-temperature crop, is very important in terms of farms profits in the summer when the price is high, and that the application of this technology has increased the farm income by 60%. As such, it can be seen that pumping liquid cooler has low installation cost, eliminates high temperature obstacles, and increases production. Thank you for your attention.